A.J. Owens was a vibrant and devoted mother whose life revolved around her 4 children and her commitment to providing them with a nurturing and loving environment. At 35 years old, A.J. was a strong, compassionate, and hardworking woman who carried herself with grace and determination. Her life, while filled with challenges, was a testament to her resilience and her unshakable belief in doing right by her family. Known for her radiant smile and warm personality, A.J. was the kind of person who could light up a room and bring people together. She had a natural charisma that made her approachable and easy to talk to, and her friends and neighbors often described her as someone who was both inspiring and deeply empathetic. A.J.'s children were her world, and she dedicated every ounce of her energy to ensuring they had the best life she could offer. As a single mother, she juggled countless responsibilities, from working tirelessly to make ends meet to actively participating in her children's education and extracurricular activities. Despite the demands of her life, she never let her challenges dampen her spirit or her love for her family. She was a fierce protector of her children, instilling in them the values of kindness, resilience, and the importance of standing up for what is right. A.J. had a deep connection with her community in Ocala, Florida, where she lived with her children. She believed in fostering positive relationships and often went out of her way to help those in need. Whether it was offering a listening ear to a struggling neighbor or lending a helping hand to someone facing tough times, A.J. was always willing to give of herself. Her actions reflected her belief in the power of community and her desire to create a better world, not just for her children but for everyone around her. Those who knew her admired her strength and her ability to find joy and beauty even in the face of adversity. Despite the challenges she faced as a black woman, in a society rife with systemic inequality and racial bias, A.J. carried herself with dignity and determination. She was acutely aware of the struggles faced by marginalized communities, but rather than letting those challenges define her, she used them as fuel to push forward and create a better life for her family. Her resilience was a source of inspiration, and she served as a role model not just for her children but for others in her community. A.J.'s dedication to her family extended to every aspect of her life. She was deeply involved in her children's lives, attending school events, helping with homework, and cheering them on at their activities. Her children adored her, and their bond was evident to anyone who saw them together. Had a way of making each of her children feel special and loved, and she worked tirelessly to ensure they had every opportunity to succeed. She was also a woman of strong convictions, unafraid to stand up for what she believed in. Whether it was advocating for her children or speaking out against injustices she saw in her community, A.J. was a voice of courage and reason. She had a natural ability to connect with people, and her words often carried a weight that inspired others to take action. In her quiet moments, A.J. enjoyed simple joys, like cooking meals for her family, sharing stories, and creating memories that her children would carry with them forever. Her home was filled with laughter, warmth, and love, a reflection of the kind of person she was. A.J.'s life, though not without its challenges, was a testament to the strength of a mother's love and the power of resilience. She faced each day with courage and determination, finding ways to overcome obstacles and provide for her family. Her unwavering commitment to her children and her community made her a beloved figure among those who knew her. She was more than just a mother, she was a pillar of strength, a source of inspiration, and a reminder of the beauty that can be found in perseverance and hope. A.J.'s life, though tragically cut short, was one filled with purpose and love, and her legacy continues to inspire those who carry her memory in their hearts. On a quiet afternoon in Ocala, Florida, the life of A.J. Owens, a 35-year-old black mother of 4, was tragically taken in an act of senseless violence that left her family and community shattered. A.J. had long been a devoted mother, fiercely protective of her children and committed to ensuring their safety and well-being. Her life revolved around her family, and her strength, compassion, and determination made her a beloved figure in her community. However, her interactions with Susan Lawrence, a white neighbor with a history of hostility, had become a source of growing tension. Lawrence had been known to harass A.J.'s children when they played near her property, often yelling at them and accusing them of trespassing. These confrontations, rooted in a pattern of aggression and apparent racial bias, had been escalating over time, creating a toxic environment for AJ and her family. On the day of the tragedy, AJ's children were playing in the grassy area near Lawrence's home, as they often did. It was a familiar and safe space for them, but Lawrence saw their presence as a provocation. Witnesses later recounted how Lawrence began shouting at the children, berating them with insults and threats. Terrified, the children ran back to their mother, seeking comfort and protection. When AJ heard about what had happened, she was deeply upset. She had always been a mother who stood up for her children, and she felt it was her duty to address the situation directly. Her intent was to confront Lawrence, not with hostility but with the firm resolve of a mother advocating for her children's right to play safely in their neighborhood without fear of harassment. AJ walked over to Lawrence's home, her heart heavy with the weight of yet another confrontation. She approached the door, determined to have a conversation and put an end to the ongoing hostility. But before she could even speak, Lawrence made a horrifying decision. From inside her home, Lawrence retrieved a firearm, and without warning, she fired through the closed door. The bullet struck AJ, fatally wounding her. The sound of the gunshot echoed through the neighborhood, a moment of pure horror that would forever change the lives of AJ's family and community. AJ collapsed outside the door, her life slipping away as her children and neighbors stood in shock and disbelief. The aftermath of the shooting was chaotic and heartbreaking. Emergency services were called, but by the time they arrived, it was too late. AJ succumbed to her injuries at the scene. Her children, who had already endured the trauma of Lawrence's verbal attacks, were now left to grapple with the unimaginable reality of losing their mother in such a violent and senseless manner. The neighborhood, once a place of familiarity and routine, became the site of profound grief and outrage. Friends, neighbors, and community members mourned the loss of a woman whose life had been marked by love and resilience, a mother whose greatest joy was her children. As news of the incident spread, it quickly became clear that AJ's death was not just a personal tragedy but a reflection of broader societal issues. The racial dynamics of the situation were impossible to ignore, and many viewed the shooting as an act of racially motivated violence. Community leaders and activists rallied around AJ's family, demanding justice and accountability. The case sparked national outrage, drawing attention to the deep-seated prejudices and systemic inequalities that continue to plague communities across the United States. The shooting also reignited conversations about the role of firearms in everyday disputes, with many questioning how an altercation over children playing near a property could escalate into such a deadly encounter. In the days following the shooting, law enforcement launched an investigation, and Susan Lawrence was arrested and charged with manslaughter. Her claims of self-defense were met with skepticism, as evidence from the scene and witness testimonies painted a clear picture of an unprovoked and unjustified act of violence. Lawrence's decision to fire through a closed door, knowing that AJ posed no physical threat, revealed the depth of her disregard for human life. The investigation also uncovered a troubling pattern of behavior, with neighbors describing Lawrence as aggressive and hostile, particularly toward families of color. Her actions on that day were not an isolated incident but the culmination of a long history of animosity and prejudice. The trial that followed was a painful and emotional process for AJ's family and community. Prosecutors argued that Lawrence's actions were driven by racial bias and an unwarranted sense of fear, and they highlighted the devastating impact of her crime. AJ's loved ones, including her grieving children, shared heart-wrenching stories of her love, strength, and dedication as a mother. Their testimonies underscored the profound loss caused. Moreover, the strength of AJ's family and community in the wake of her death offers a powerful example of resilience and unity. While the pain of losing AJ is immeasurable, her loved ones have channeled their grief into a fight for justice, ensuring that her life and legacy are not forgotten. Their courage in the face of such profound loss demonstrates the importance of collective action and solidarity in the pursuit of a better world. As we reflect on AJ's life and the lessons her story imparts, it is clear that her legacy extends far beyond the tragedy of her death. In remembering AJ, we honor not just the life she lived but the love she gave, the strength she embodied, and the change she inspires. Her children, her family, and her community carry her memory forward, ensuring that her story continues to touch hearts and spark action. As we close the chapter on AJ's story, let us carry forward the lessons she has left behind. Let us commit to building a society where empathy triumphs over hatred, where justice prevails over prejudice, and where love and humanity guide our actions. AJ's life was a beacon of light for her family, and her legacy now shines as a guiding star for all of us. May we honor her memory by working tirelessly to create a world that reflects the values she held dear, a world where every life is cherished, every voice is heard, and every community is united in compassion and understanding.